Hey guys, it's Kathy. It's another Sunday, and I have another special guest for you. Let me just introduce myself for those who do not know. I'm Kathy Anderson of A&E Coaching Group, and what I try to do, or the goal is to assist nonprofit leaders with funding and just building their overall organization, which usually leads to the funding that they need to make the impact within the community that they desire to make, and that's so very important. So this is just a portion of how I give back to do that. Is introduce a nonprofit. The goal is one nonprofit organization per week. That's the goal. Every Sunday at 4 p.m. Central Time, because I am in Nashville, Tennessee. So, with further ado, I have actually her name is Mrs. Tiffany Hawkins of Victim to Victory. And before I bring her on, I want to tell you all, because some people are in Nashville, but understand that I'm going to hit nonprofits all over the United States. And even though, if you've been watching, we've had somewhat, I'll say domestic violence has been the mission, but understand that everybody has a different perspective of how their organization goes about it, a different, maybe even target market that they do. And anytime you are a nonprofit leader or any kind of leader, understand that a lot of times you are the reason. You are the reason of the spinoff of how it works. You are the reason of who's attracted. So don't worry about it. There's no competition because too many people need help. So I am actually honored, and it's a pleasure to have Miss Hawkins today. So I'm going to bring her on without further ado, and I'll let her tell you who she is, as I let everybody, because we don't want to just read a bio. That's not good. So here we go. All
Well,
right.
hello.
Hi there. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
All right. Well, I know you as Tiffany, so it's going to be Tiffany.
Tiffany. Yeah, some people call me Candy, but yeah, it's Tiffany.
Right. Candy, I ain't got used to that yet. It's crazy because a lot of times people have nicknames, and I just intentionally do the first name and just mess it all up. But it's okay. All right. So as I said, I gave a brief, and I know I didn't do you any justice at all. So I want to just start off by letting you tell just who is Tiffany Hawkins.
All right. I'm Tiffany Hawkins. I really don't know. I'm not as good as talking about myself. I can tell you about the program because I feel that the program is bigger than me or
Hmm.
anybody else that's working it. Because if we put ourselves there, although we're doing the legwork, we put ourselves there. Sometimes you lose the mindset of why you're really doing what you're doing. Well,
Right.
B2V, I believe it was like 2011, 2012. I had been in an abusive relationship that started off verbal, started off
Hmm.
mental, then went verbal, and then it went physical.
Mm,
So once I prayed and asked God to help me away from that situation,
mhm,
I would see different people, and it's like I'm looking at a mirror.
mm,
I can see me in them. I can see the withdrawn. I can see them scared, not wanting to talk, not doing eye contact.
mhm,
And it was like I was being convicted for not reaching out. I
mm.
feel that this is more of a ministry. And don't get me wrong, I'm not no scripture quoting, Bible toting. You can't ask me and tell. All I know is if Genesis is the first book, Revelations is the last. I can't run it down to you, but I just feel it's a ministry because of
Mm.
what God allowed me to go through and
Yeah.
come out of.
Mhm.
So many people, men and women, have lost their lives to the ones that they love.
Yeah.
And even though that person was hurting them, they still love that person. They were
Yeah.
still loyal to that person.
Mhm.
Above them, above their own safety, they still love that person.
Yeah.
So V2V, our mission is we are rebuilding safe homes one family at a time. So
Mhm.
what we're doing, we do assistance as far as we've paid rent, we pay some on electricity, I've put
Mhm.
people up in uh, motels while we wait to see if the Y have something for them to, somewhere for them to go have a bed.
Mhm.
Uh, Even had a one young lady and her children wanted to go to Detroit. Couldn't afford a
Mhm.
plane ticket, but we was able to get them a bus ticket to get
Okay.
them home. And once she got there, she told me she was going to destroy the phone or whatever. But they
Mhm.
knew, but it was known to me. It was told to me that she did make it there safe.
Okay.
Um, and my focus is our young girls, because I
Mhm.
feel if we can start with our young girls, building strong young girls and knowing their worth, we'll have stronger women that
Yes.
won't be
Yeah.
susceptible to go through the abuse. Because a lot of times you're going through it and you don't recognize it until you're dead set in the eye of the storm. And then you
Mhm.
don't know what to do. You in too deep to turn around, but it seemed like forever for you to keep going forward. So I
Mhm.
want to start. My focus is with our young girls doing prevention,
Mhm.
letting them see their worth, their worthiness.
Yeah.
Because if you ear hustle, if you have teenagers and you ear hustle, or
Mhm.
either just walk through the mall and ear hustle, you hear them talking about he did this or he did that. But girl, he got me this bag. You know,
Mhm.
he
Mhm.
loves me. That's the reason he did this. He loves me. You see what he gave me. 9 times out of 10, first of all, it's a knockoff because he probably bought it on the corner,
Right.
right there on Jefferson Street. And then, no matter what it is nothing is worth your safety.
No.
Nothing is worth your safety. And once we allow the monster in, it's hard to get them out. They're kind of like roaches. You know,
Mhm.
they just
Mhm.
it multiplies and it slowly tears you down as a human being, not just as a woman, because men are susceptible to domestic violence as well. They just don't
Right.
tell it because it's a pride thing. But there's a lot of men that's going around out here that's going through domestic violence. They just, you know,
Mhm.
they think it'll mess up their manhood, if they
Mhm.
let somebody know about it.
Okay. That I mean, see, this is what I was trying to say in the beginning. Everybody has a different perspective, a different approach, and I'm thankful. That's what mainly attracted me to your organization is the fact that it was targeted primarily, we'll say, to young women or young girls. We'll say young girls, the girls. Let's just get it straight. Anybody under 18, you're still considered a girl.
True.
So that was very important because sometimes we as women, we're kind of in there. We're stuck. There is a lot of resources out there, and we know the going back and forth. And I'm not saying don't help, right? And Tiffany does do that. But at the end of the day, if we can start, get where it starts, you can't go back generations. But young women or young people are so impressionable that it's easier sometime it's better to get them then and speak to them where they are. And I think Tiffany does a great job with that. I think that's why she attracts those young ladies and they listen and they listen a lot of times as long as they can trust you. That's what they need because so many adults have just I guess just done them wrong and not come through
Mm-hmm.
and they see so much. We got to understand it's not always what we say, but it's what they see. So if those kind of things are in the
True.
household, a girlfriend is talking about it, then we got to have some adults to stand up and really kind of give them that guidance, give them some distraction too a lot of times to know their worth. And I think you've done a great job at that.
Thank
But
you.
I tell you one area I'm not going to let you slide because yes, you're right, it is important with V2V, but at the same time I think people such as yourself are special, right? Um, Knowing that if I only knew you were just this woman that you gave us a little bit of why you started the organization, but you work, right?
Yes.
Okay. And some know, some don't. I do have to touch on it a little bit, but you have recently been widowed. So have been married, right? So get it straight, everybody. She said 2011. That was not the relationship. She started the organization um, during the last marriage, correct?
It wasn't a marriage. It was a, what you
Well,
talking about, the
the
when
abuse
I
was.
started the organization.
Hmm.
It was, yeah, I wasn't married then. It
Right,
wasn't. It was someone way before my
right.
marriage.
So I
Yes.
just want to, because people don't know, they're out here all over the world. So let you all know that one, there's hope afterwards. I want to say that, and we can't help when people go leave, die, whatever happens. But at the end of the day, we still see Tiffany right here. We still see her doing the mission. That's important. And you have children.
Yes. Two girls and four grandkids.
Okay, you guys. So I just want, if nothing else, you see her as an example. When you think you can't do it, when you think you can't move forward, when you think you can't even start a nonprofit, and maybe you don't need to start one, but maybe you need to help. Maybe you need to help, as long as you're aligned with the mission or even what Tiffany has set forth, and you want to help out, you want to give money, or you want to volunteer, or just be that mentor. Sometimes it's just being a go to, and of course, we want to go with the guidelines of V2V. But all of that is needed, you guys. So that's really important. I really wanted to show that she's a human being. It's not like somebody just gifted her something to go and do this. It was something that was in her heart. For those who are spiritual or godly, like, we know that, God puts that in her heart to do things, and she moved forward with that. Even if she wanted to quit, I know that she still continued to do that. Part of the reason why sometimes I just reach out every now and then and bug her, because I just understand that everybody has their place, and only Tiffany can do what she's been called to do. So this is really important to me to make sure that she gets this out here. And look, I'm emotional. She's emotional. We're gonna try not to be too much, but it was really, really critical to me that before the end of this year we get her on this camera here. But we want to share just from a nonprofit leader, or even in your operations of helping. Just give like a challenge, or a couple challenges that you think it could be either way, whether it helps other
It
nonprofit or it helps people who are going through.
Housing right
Mm,
now is our main part. Our main challenge right now is housing.
okay.
Um,
Yeah.
when they're ready to move, they're ready
Mm-hmm.
to move then. So once the person gets the courage up to
Mm-hmm.
take a step, if something happens and they're not able to act on it then,
Mm-hmm.
they will probably go back.
Mm,
And to that abuser, you took some control from me when you left the
mm-hmm.
first time. So now I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
have to apply the pressure to let you
Yeah.
know that I'm the one that's in control. So when they come and there's no housing for them to go to, and that just bothers me. It
Yeah.
really does. That's the reason I have gone without paying bills of my own to put people in hotels just to see if we can get somewhere for them to go. Because when you leave an abusive relationship,
Mm-hmm.
you only leave with mainly the clothes on your back.
Right.
You have to walk
Right.
away from everything and everybody, basically, that connected to you that person know. So
Mm-hmm.
here they are, and I don't call them survivors. I call them surviving, because
Mm,
you're always surviving.
mm-hmm.
You can have a flashback, something uh, with just a sound or a song or a smell. Anything can take
Wow.
you right back to that day,
Wow.
and
Wow.
could take you right back to that day and break you down. And it could have been years you've been out of it.
Mm,
So I say surviving,
mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
that they're not weak or broken. To me, the strongest people are surviving,
Yeah.
because not only did you have the strength to leave, you have the strength to live. You
Mm,
had the courage to live. You
mm.
had the courage to step out of your shadow
That's
and
true.
stand. And that is so hard when you're going through domestic, because you've been taught so long to stay in the shadows.
Yep.
You've been taught so long to stay in the shadows.
Yep.
So, um, but that's the reason I call them surviving. I just got totally thrown off what I was saying when I thought about that. But
Yeah.
housing is uh, a main resource that we have, and that comes with the funding. The funding to
Okay.
be able to get the housing, to make sure that you can always put them up somewhere for in the
Right.
meantime until they get somewhere.
Right.
Uh, we have clothes and stuff we can, give them toiletries and all of that, and clothes. It's just having them somewhere to stay that's safe,
Yes.
and
First
not
and
just a
foremost.
place for them to stay there and sit there and smoke cigarettes and watch the soap operas all day. It's got to be a program in place. It's got to be something in place for them to better themselves. No,
Yes.
I would like V2V to eventually get a house, and within that housing, do home buyers classes,
Mm.
so
Okay.
that while they're there, they're going through building a credit, resume building, starting their own career. So when they leave there, they can go into their own and not
Yes.
depend on somebody, because you're made to be dependent on that person, whether or not
Hmm.
that person is the source of the income. Is
Yeah.
you're the source of the income, and a lot of times they take control over your money, and
Hmm.
stuff slip through the cracks.
Mm.
So housing, funding, and then mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health. When you're
Yeah.
in an abusive relationship, is three ways it can go. You can die by his hands,
Hmm.
die by your hands,
Mm.
or walk away.
Wow. Wow.
So those are your only three options, really. Because if you stay there, you're chancing it. You know,
Hmm.
even if you leave, you're actually chancing it. But the thing of it is, you didn't stay,
Right. Right.
and it's known that whatever you done to me after the fact I was gone, I was woman enough, I was strong enough to make that move away.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's kind of where B2V is. I've also doing mentorship at the
Hmm.
juvenile.
Hmm.
I work with some young ladies there, and people was like, that has nothing to do with domestic violence. I said, but you don't know that.
That's
If
right.
those some of the stories
Yeah.
that was told, yes, it was.
Right.
And a lot of people got
Yeah.
to realize domestic violence is not always husband and wife and husband.
Nope.
It can be brother and sister, mama and daddy.
It's domestic. Right.
Yes, it's one thing to discipline your child, but it's another thing to abuse them.
Right. Right.
So it is, and there it is, another
Yeah.
person that's supposed to love me that's
Yep.
hurt me. So how am I supposed to believe in love?
Right.
How am I supposed to believe in love
Right.
with everybody that around me that says they love me eventually hurts me? So that's the
Yeah.
reason I really feel that it's very important
That's
to
good.
mentor to these younger girls. I'm
Yeah.
talking about last year at the Northwest
Hmm.
Y,
Hmm.
we done a mentorship after school for IT Crestwell with the
Mm.
young girls.
The young ones. Yeah.
Yes, and they opened up, telling me about friends that's going through this, and how they
Hmm.
trying to get them out of this. And then someone was
Mm.
talking about how they auntie was doing this. So a lot of times we don't think our children know, but they know.
They know.
They
And
know. I know
according
from
to
I
those
didn't think my
statistics.
girls knew, but
Hmm.
they told me later. You know,
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
They really do.
Yeah. So, and then you mentioned prevention. So, if nothing else, if they don't know, we know from statistics the likelihood of them going through it is very high. So, anything that they can do, that you can do, or someone can do to mentor them at an early age, I think is greatly commendable, and invaluable for that future of that young lady. So, yeah. Um, Look, how dare they say They haven't gone through domestic. Who cares? We want to stop that so they
Exactly.
won't get
We
through.
want to do the prevention part.
Yeah, because it has nothing to people think it has to do with your level of education or your
No.
income. It has nothing to do with any of that because most of it starts
Up
right
here.
here. And that mind can be broken down no matter who you are. But sometime if you had something poured into you early, have like growing up, I didn't really know anybody that I hadn't seen it. But so you want to capture a young person like me before we do get into it, because if you
Yeah.
get into it like I did, then you don't really recognize it. And then after a
Yeah.
while, it's like, whoa, I'm in here now. So, um, yeah, that prevention is critical for these young ladies, and they just need to know have confidence because even if it's not domestic violence, it flows over into your job. It
Yes.
flows over into your daily life. So you want a strong woman in for the future, no matter what area of their life it is. So I like that. What about some? I know you probably have plenty of what you call wins, or at least young women that can come back to you and say, "Hey, Miss Tiffany, I'm so grateful to you. I'm so grateful for your organization." But just give us something that stands out to you that was a great achievement of, your organization.
I know one time, because when you dealing with other people's emotions,
Mhm.
and then if you also went through them yourself, you carry a heavy load,
Mhm.
a mentally heavy load. And sometimes it's like I don't see what I'm doing, you know, what I'm doing out here. I don't see it. One, I
Mhm.
don't put everything, I don't put it on Facebook. No one knows what I'm doing but the person that I'm assisting.
Mhm. Mhm.
But and sometimes it's like I'm spinning my wheels.
Mhm.
And this young lady was in my inbox, and
Mm.
she told me, she said, I just wanted to say thank you. She
Mm.
said, we have not met, but the work that you're doing, and I'm hearing about it. She said, it really inspired me to leave my relationship.
Wow.
And she
Wow.
said, I have not even met you. So she said, if anything that your organization needs, let me know. And, I'll pour into it. And
Mhm.
then one lady uh, went to Atlanta with her kids.
Mhm.
She went down there. She I linked up with um, it was a housing organization in Atlanta that I got the
Mhm.
information from here, and
Okay.
had them linked. And she got a job, and every once in a while she'd send a inbox talking about just wanted you to know that we good,
Mhm.
and thank you. I can actually go to sleep now.
Wow. Wow.
So
Mhm.
it's a lot when you do the work that I do.
Mhm.
You don't see what you do.
Mhm.
You don't see what you're doing, and sometimes it's like that you're not really helping. I'm like, what
Mhm.
am I really doing?
Mhm.
Because I really don't see it. What am I really doing? And
Okay.
right when I'm feeling that way, God sent somebody to the inbox.
Yep.
He
Yep.
sent somebody to the inbox. So he keeps me stay encouraged, even when
Mhm.
I don't want to get up and do nothing. I don't want to
Yeah.
go anywhere. He reminds me that the work that I'm doing is noticed
Right.
and is necessary.
Right. Yeah.
So he keeps me
Yeah.
pushing, because I didn't have nobody in my ear when I was going through it, because I just stayed to myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
But one thing I don't believe in, I'm not giving the abuser any more fame.
Right.
I don't tell his name, because
Mhm.
he knows who he is.
Mhm.
And all I tell people is I'm surviving.
Right.
I'm
Right.
surviving. Because every time the abuser is a narcissist.
Mhm.
And every time that person's name rings, it's like a bell rings.
Mhm.
He's getting
Mhm.
more credibility,
Yep. Good or bad. Yep.
good or bad.
Yep. Yep.
They
Yep.
notice him.
Yep.
So
Yep.
at some point, have to let it stop being about him
Mhm.
and let it be about him
Right.
and let
Right.
him guide me through.
Yes. Yes. That's great. That is great. Yeah. I hope you all hear this. I really hope you hear this. And I want to touch just a little bit on that. Remember, we all come from somewhere, and where we can't. Sometimes you can't. Well, we're not the one to do the condemning. Sometimes there has to be a punishment. There has to be that, right? But understand that's why in the household we can't allow our children to go through this, because that same child will become that abuser and can become that abuser and often becomes that abuser. So it is a generational thing. So we have to think about that as well. So at the end of the day, we're saving ourselves, but we're also saving those little ones that are in our household. Because as we said, they know. It doesn't matter what you hide, doesn't matter if you argue in front of them or not. That's been proven over and over again. They'll hear when you think they don't. They notice, they feel your energy, all of that. That is critical. I've talked to some women about that, and they'll say, "Oh, my child, I'm just going to stay till they get, 18." That's almost the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it ends up being the worst thing. Like you said, it's only three ways out. If you don't leave, sometime you never will be able to. So, and that's still going to be in the minds of the children. So that's critical. Something happens to you and the children are living, or all of you die. It's just an ugly situation. So I'm grateful for organizations like this. And I really want my leaders to see that each and every one of you have a place in what you're doing. You can't even do this if you want fame and fortune.
No.
If you did, I don't even know how you really can get that. Like, because if you're helping people, you're doing the dirty work. You're doing the work that
Yeah.
most people do not want to do. Now, real quick, I want to bring out the commonality of something that I heard her say. She will give her last. She will give her some time for others. Now, this is where I step in as the business person. While it sounds good, and it does, that means we know where her heart is, and we know where your heart is, whatever you're doing. But the end of the day, it's just like that airplane. They say put that oxygen on yourself before you go out there and put it even on your child. Because if you don't have the oxygen, you're not going to have the strength to put it on that child, and you're both going to die. So you have to be able to have the strength to save other people and have some outlets. That's another reason why I wanted Tiffany and I started doing this, because you need to know you're not going through it by yourself. You got to have outlets. You mentioned mental health. That's major, because most time when nonprofit leaders start a organization, it's because of something personal that has happened to them. PTSD is real. So we have to get counseling too, or make sure we have a way to, if we need it, as well as those safe places, as well as giving that to other people. So I want you all to hear this. I mean, if you can't do anything but just give some money, it helps. It helps so she won't give her own. And then, my job is to make sure certain foundations are set so grants can come in and other things can come in. But we want to make sure that the foundation is set. And as she mentioned, different programs. But even without having that, she's been able to go this far of getting people to safe houses or safe places, or giving them toiletries, whatever needs to be received. So, understand, I know the holidays are about, and I tell everybody it's not just about the holidays, because people still need the day after, the day after, and the day after. 365 days, somebody is in need. So, this might be the time to get sales, save it up, and give later. Doesn't matter. But they're always in need. So don't let this go out of your mind. Whatever your heart is for, whatever you feel for, whatever type of organization, it doesn't matter. Just, you know, remember it's 365 days. So I want to make sure we get to Do you have any events for this year, the rest of the year? Anything coming up?
No, I'm working on a couple of things, but I haven't gotten it all planned out yet. So,
Okay.
but it won't
Okay.
be at the end of this year. It will be, the beginning of
Starting
next
next
year.
year.
I want to do
Okay.
something in February because February is teen dating month.
Oh, I got to remember that too.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's teen
Teen
dating
dating
month.
month.
So I want to do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. This dating stuff is really getting out of hand.
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
know if you all noticed, but it's a national awareness.
Yes.
Um, it's serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't
Obama,
get.
when he was in office, that's what
Mm-hmm.
he made February. Teen.
Oh, okay.
He made it the domestic violence month for teenagers. Teen dating.
Okay. Okay. And I know everybody's out there saying, "Oh, we got another a month awareness." Yeah, we got another. But I can tell you, long before that, it was an issue,
Yeah.
and it's been noted, especially even when they get to the college age. That's why I said it had nothing to do with education or income because college is pretty bad. There's some significant laws that have changed, even back in the 1900s, but the 1990s and 1980s. I remember some significant things that had changed in college, even when I was going in the 80s, 1980s. So y'all
Yeah, but
understand that
and
you
it
want
don't take the about the money because look at Halle Berry.
right,
Look at Halle Berry,
right,
K. Michelle,
yeah, a lot of them.
Tina Turner, and now
Yep,
Taraji P. She just started speaking out on
yeah.
domestic violence.
People have been
So it's
hiding.
not
Yeah,
about you're not cute enough, or
mm-mm,
you don't have enough money, or you're not smart enough.
right,
It's not.
right,
It is not bad. It happens to those who the young people, or maybe even us,
yeah,
look up to.
yeah,
How she
yeah,
got all of this, how she gonna let, because it's not all about the money.
mm-mm,
When you're actually loving that person,
mm-hmm,
it's not all about the money. Now, if
mm-mm,
that was just a sugar daddy, then it would be
right,
easy to cut tail and go. But if you
right,
already have emotional, and it normally don't start until you already entwined in it. If you
yep,
can catch those warning signs early and
yeah,
be able to go, you're good.
yeah,
But once you've been in it and you're already wrapped in it, it's hard to make that transition out.
mm-hmm,
It's
mm-hmm,
hard.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It really is, yeah. So, and you guys, this is why we have to have these conversations too, because a lot of times you feel like you're the only one, but understand, I'll call it the predator. The predator already knows how to remove you from your family, from what you know. So a lot of times, even if you're that extroverted person, all of a sudden you find out, and it's a fine line because when you love a person, you want to be with that person. You do. You get married or something, or you don't. But whatever, you're not going to be around your girlfriends like you used to be. But they have a tendency to weave to where it becomes unhealthy, where you're not associating with anybody, not even your family. So I'm glad you said that as well, and we can't reemphasize that enough. Unless you've been in it and you can reflect back, it has nothing to do with income or just nothing. It's a mental thing. It's someone working on you mentally, which you just never know. So warning signs, and that's something that Tiffany gives that education as well, especially letting those young girls, because where you think something is mild could be starting with that telephone, that cell phone.
Yeah.
Any level of control can lead to that domestic violence or any kind of violence, we'll say, between two people that are in love with, so called in love with each other, right? Any kind of relationship. Any kind of relationship. So if they want to contact you or we'll say your organization, um, still, you said inbox, but give us some ways how to contact you, or even you can I'll make sure I get from you the so I can post it, how to give, whether it be PayPal, Cash App, whatever, however your means, and give all that information on how to contact
Okay. My telephone number is 615
you.
nine two eight 0793. 615 928 0793. Um, a victim to victory
Hmm.
on my Instagram. Um, my Facebook, I'm currently having stuff worked on it for my Facebook. So once it's up, I'll have it.
Okay.
But we have a Facebook page as well.
Okay. Okay. And that's Victim to Victory too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I know it's a little change, like you have V2. Is it V2, the number two on,
With
or is
the
it Victim?
email,
Hmm.
uh, with the email is victim. You're gonna spell out the number two,
Okay.
victory at Gmail.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Spell out the
Yeah.
number two.
Okay. And just want to make sure, I mean, again, we know that this is sensitive subject matter. It's a sensitive type of organization. So some things cannot be just out there because you have to protect the people that you're serving as well. But, at least if nothing else, somebody or you need help, she can at least connect you to resources if nothing else. That's what I always say. Because we have to make sure that Tiffany's safe and that any organization is safe too. But a lot of times the resources matter, even if she doesn't have the home herself. And we're all getting to that. And we know here in Nashville, Tennessee, that's almost impossible just by what's going on with gentrification and all that other stuff. We can talk about why, but at the end of the day, there's still other resources that can be connected. So, as I said, I thank you, Tiffany. It's been a privilege for me to showcase. Yeah, it makes me shine a little bit because these are the type of people that I help, and I'm proud of that. I usually find people that the average you guys don't even know them, you don't know about them, because all I'm concerned about is what people are doing to help our community and the people in need. So my community is anybody that's in need. That's what I want. Because other than that, we talk about men, and I want to get this straight too, because I don't want people like Tiffany to apologize or explain why it's women. We got to understand that at the end of the day, when you come on that level in society, women are at the bottom, jobs and otherwise. So I don't care if you're a black man or not, you're going to have certain privileges that we are not going to have as females, with just off the bat. So that's why it makes it harder for us when it comes to domestic violence, because it's not that we're dealing with that person in the home, but you're dealing with sometime your church, sometime your job. So you're having to explain yourself, and people don't believe.
Yeah.
So that's why it's very, very important for us as women to have something that's primarily for women when it comes to domestic violence, because of our just being on that negative side of even trying to just make it on a daily basis in society. So it's really important. So thank you, thank you, thank you again. And I
Thank
know you have
you.
plenty of things to do with your life and your day, but I thank you. And anybody out there, if you can support in any way, please do so. And otherwise, don't forget that February, you said it's
Yes.
teen. What is it called
It,
again? Teen violence
teen dating. Teen dating month.
dating.
Yes.
Okay. Teen Dating Month. Yeah, we're gonna have to remember that because we have all these other days coming up, and try to support, especially during that month as well. And look out for on, sometimes you can't showcase what you do like the specific person, but you guys look out for different events or different other times that she's online and she's showcasing other means for you to support the organization. So there's two sides to nonprofits. They have to be seen for people to know that they exist, but at the same time, you're not showcasing who you're serving specifically. But there will be some events that you all as families and individuals can participate in that I know. So, all righty, we're good. Did I miss anything, Miss Tiffany?
I think you got everything.
Okay. All right. We dry our eyes and we go on. So it was a sensitive subject, you guys. So other than that, everybody have a great rest of the week and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye
Bye.
bye.